Alright, so Jeff Britton, he did not last very long. I think they went to Nashville to record some songs, some of the next album, and then Junior's Farm and Sally G. And then when Jeff Britton left, they got a guy named Joe English, an American drummer. And with him, they finished up the next album, and that album was 1975's Venus and Mars. Underrated album. Very underrated. I think this is not as good as Band on the Run, but I think this is a close second in terms of the Wings albums. It is a really good album. This is a 1980s reissue of the album on vinyl. And yeah, I love this album. It's a little bit of a, has more of a hard rock edge to it, which now compared to the other hard rock and heavy metal I listen to, yeah, this is sort of corny, but I still like it. It's good fun. So, in terms of favorite songs, like Venus and Mars Rock Show, that twofer, great song. Lovin' Song's good. You Gave Me the Answer is fun. Magneto and Titanium Man. Letting Go is awesome. Spirits of Ancient Egypt, great song from Denny Lane. Medicine Jar, which was Jim McCulloch's song. Calling Back Again is good. Listen to What the Man Said was #1 hit. Treat Her Gently and Lonely Old People, great twofer. And it ends with the Crossroads theme. So yeah, this is a great album, very underrated. The other CD version I have of this is from the 1980s, and that too was signed by Paul. Not only was it signed by Paul, but I also got it signed by Denny Lane. It was reissued in 2014. This is it right here. And they've loaded up the second disc with a bunch of material here. However, some of it's been released before, but again, this is a great remaster. It sounds great. The new songs are good. Okay, up next, Wings at the Speed of Sound. Compared to Venus and Mars, this is weaker. Yeah, for me, this has been always a weird album, but the reissue from 2014 has made me appreciate this album more. The songs on here are, most of the songs on here are really good, but some of them are even better live. So, Let 'Em In was a #1 hit, I think. It's a good one. The Note You Never Wrote by Denny Lane, good one. That's a good song. She's My Baby, it's okay. Beware My Love is an example of the songs being better live. Yeah, that song's way better live, much heavier. Lino Junko, another song written by Jimmy McCulloch. Silly Love Songs was a #1 hit. Cook the House, sung by Linda. Again, Linda McCartney was an amazing woman. But I think we can all agree that Cook of the House was not one of her best moments. I'm sorry. Time to Hide, another one from Denny Lane. That's a good one. Again, much better live. Must Do Something About It, sung by Joe English. Yeah, this album has a song sung by each of the 5 members. Pretty cool. For Must Do Something About It, I really love that song. Really do. I listen to that one a lot. San Ferry Ann, is it okay? Warm and Beautiful's okay. I mean, it's a little bit on the softer side. I mean, compared to, compared to the rock music that was on, Venus and Mars, this is what follows it up. But it's okay for what it is. It's at least better than Wildlife. So I do have a CD version of it from, I think, 1989. It was pressed. But the last time it was reissued was in 2014. And yeah, this sounds much better than the CD copy I used to have. The second disc is not very good. Only has a couple of demos. There is a version of Beware My Love with John Bonham on drums. The next album is a live one. Wings Over America. The only time that Wings came over here to the United States was in 1976. It was a very successful tour, which also resulted not only in the live album, but also in a movie which wasn't released until 1980. So, that movie being Rock Show. But first I'll talk about this. Yeah, this is a good live album. I'll be honest. This was the first time I owned it when it was given to me. It was found amongst a bunch of Beatles-related records by my great aunt when she was cleaning up the basement, and she said, "Which ones do you want?" "Well, what do you have?" She listed them. "I'll take them all." So, this one I didn't really listen to. I don't know why. Just they looked scratched. I mean, it's a 3 LP set, but I don't know. In terms of live albums, it's not critically acclaimed, and I think I know why. Some of it does sound. I think it has to do something with the mix. Consensus that the bass and the drums sound like they're in a closet or they're not very upfront. They changed this, at least I think so, with the 2013 reissue, which is right here. And if you see any writing on it, yeah. I mentioned about getting the radio station copy of some of these things. Yeah, they got the radio station copy of Ram when I wasn't there after, it was when my sophomore year had ended. So I asked the manager, if you get this one, if you get Wings Over America, could I have it? And she said, yeah, that I could. And lo and behold, it came in the mail. Yeah, and if you notice here, it says it's the advanced copy. So this is the one that the newspapers get so they can review it before it comes out. And the thing that's unique about this is that it comes with the DVD that you can only get in the $100 box set, which is kind of why I wanted this, and also so I didn't have to pay for the album, because I was already buying Rock Show on DVD, because they both came out at the same time. But now, in terms of the live album, it's good. I'm more familiar with Rock Show, having gotten not knowingly a bootleg copy of it on VHS many years ago from eBay. I think the sound quality in the movie is much better, but the album, I think you can hear some of it was redone in the studio or overdubbed in there, but it's a fun live album. I mean, Paul goes through, and it was the first time that I think he was playing any of the, I think he had done so before, but he was playing some of the Beatles songs too, and people were loving it. And they weren't just loving the Beatles songs and that Paul was there, they were loving the concert in general. I think many people would agree that this lineup of Wings was their best. I mean, and this showcases it wonderfully. And I think the remaster sounds great, even though I can't really say if the remaster sounds better than the other one because I never had the original CD version. But for me, it sounds good, at least, okay? It sounds good to me. And it's a good album. It's worth checking out. Maybe wait until later. And as for Rock Show, it is a great concert movie. And luckily, you can see it now. It's been out on DVD and Blu-ray for now 3 years. When before, it was only on Betamax and Laserdisc. So what I had, I don't think it was ever released on VHS. And if you did have a VHS copy of Rock Show, it probably was a bootleg. And mine sure didn't look like a bootleg. Come to think of it now. I still have it in the basement. It's a good movie. Great concert film. They cleaned it up the best they could. More so than one hand clapping. So, yeah. Great album. And check out Rock Show. Alright, next up is London Town. Now, I'm not entirely sure what was going on with the lineup here. I know that for a fact that Paul goes on about how that, yes, this album was indeed recorded on a ferry boat, and that Paul just splurged his money on a bunch of boats. He just put a recording studio in there. Then they overdubbed it in the studio, most of it. And they still had Jimmy McCulloch and Joe English with them, but shortly afterwards, Jimmy McCulloch said he wanted to leave and join a reunited version of the Small Faces. So Jimmy left, and unfortunately for Jimmy, he passed away in 1979 from a drug overdose, and he was only 26, so what a waste. He was a great musician. Well worth checking out. He is a very, very interesting guy. According to Paul, Joe English was homesick, so they were just left with the core three again of Paul, Linda, and Denny. Now, London Town. This is funny as to why I first got the CD, which, hold on here. This is how I have it, but this is what it looks like. It has the, for some reason I think it looks cool to put the cover in the corner, which I don't think it looks nice, so I changed it. And that's what really distracted me from getting this. The reason why I got London Town is kind of funny, and I'm pretty sure this was the reason why. It was the album where it had a song that was in Wingspan that I really, really liked called I've Had Enough, which is still one of my favorite songs off the album. And thinking, okay, I'll get London Town, not knowing that, well, it's not a very critically acclaimed album, but it should be. It's a pretty underrated album. I would say the first half is much stronger. The last few songs are okay, but I really like London Town. I think it's a great album. I think it's a good one. Title track's great. Cafe on the Left Bank is a good rocker. I'm Carrying, good ballad. Backwards Traveler, it's a good short song. Cufflink, it's a nice funky jam. Children, Children is one from Day Lane. Girlfriend is good, which would later be covered by Michael Jackson on Off the Wall. I've Had Enough, again, one of my favorites on here. With a Little Luck, which became a #1 hit for them. Famous Groupies is good fun. My favorite song, Deliver Your Children, which is sung by Dane Lane. What a great, deep track. I love Deliver Your Children. Name and Address is okay. Don't Let It Bring You Down. Morse Moose and the Grey Goose. Again, it starts to fall towards the last three songs, but it's not a bad album. I like it. What I have here is before the reissues that we have now that are coming out one by one here. The last time that these albums were remastered were in 1993, and yeah, this is one. This is the 1993 remaster of London Town, and has 2 bonus tracks, Girl School and Noel King Tire, which was a huge hit for them over in the UK and Scotland, obviously. Alright, come 1978, Wings had to get another 2 new members to replace now Jimmy McCulloch and Joe English. Replacing Jimmy McCulloch was a guy named Lawrence Juber, and the guy replacing Joe English was a guy named Steve Holley. And together they made an album in 1979, and as fate would have it, it was the last Wings album ever made. I don't think it was intended to be that way, but it ended up being the last album. And that album is Back to the A. As for me, I love Back to the A. I would say that my top 3 favorite Wings albums would be Band on the Run, Venus and Mars, and then Back to the A, in that order. It is just a great album. At that time, punk rock was very popular, and you also had some of the power pop AOR groups out there. So that's what Back to the Egg is, kind of, and it really is a fun album to listen to. In terms of favorite songs, Reception's a good beginner. Getting Closer is great. Broken Tonight, it's okay. Spinning On is a good, I guess like a heavier 1950s rock and roller. Again and Again and Again, not one of Denny Lane's best, but it's okay. Old Siam Sir, wonderful rocker, well worth checking out. Arrow Through Me, love it. Rockestra Theme, where Paul got a bunch of the big rock stars at the time and put them all in one song. Made a rock orchestra, so Rockestra. The Rockestra theme is fun. To You, After the Ball, Million Miles. Winter Rose, Love Awake, which is beautiful. That might be my favorite. That or Old Siam Sir. It's hard to toss up between those. The Broadcast is filler. So glad to see you here. I think that also has the orchestra playing on the song, and then it ends with Baby's Request. What an album. And they made a TV special making promotional videos for most of the songs on here, which I'm pretty sure will be released when this gets the remaster treatment, whenever that will be. So, yeah, I really like this album. In terms of a CD version, I got it from iTunes, actually. The next album from Paul was sort of a follow-up to his first solo album, in that he would be the only musician playing on the album, and that album is McCartney II. Now, Wings, if I have my history right here, 1980, Wings were supposed to do a big tour in Japan, but it all came to a halt when Paul was arrested for possession of marijuana. And when he came out, I think it was like, he was only in there for, what, 7 days or a couple days, and he decided he didn't want to do the tour anymore. So I really like this album. It is just wonderfully weird, and it's very, very experimental. With this album, he had a 16-track machine, I think, and he had a synthesizer as well, which is why some people don't like this album, because it has too many synthesizers. But I just love it because it's just so out there. I mean, not completely out there, but just that he would make this one of his major releases, and such a zany album. In terms of favorite songs, Coming Up is on here. The one that became the hit version was the live version. Temporary Secretary, love it. On the Way, sort of a slow rocker. Waterfalls is a beautiful song. Nobody Knows is a fun little rocker. From Parlor and Frozen Jap, those are songs that really utilize in the electronics and the synthesizers. Summer's Day Song is also good. Bogey Music can get a little bit annoying, but it's okay. Dark Room is wonderfully reggae, and it ends with One of These Days, which actually is the most normal song in this album. So I really have a lot of time for McCartney II. It's a fun album to listen to. I like it. Now, I did not own a previous version of this album. So when it came out in 2011 with McCartney, it was my first time listening to it. And I really didn't know if I was either gonna really like it or really hate it. But since I'm already a fan of experimental music, and even Yoko Ono's music, I love McCartney II. And the second disc actually has some good stuff. Originally, McCartney II was going to be a double album, which probably would have been a little bit too much for fans back in the day, and probably even now. Yeah, some of the bonus songs on here are like Check My Machine. What else? Boogie Wobble, Secret Friend, Mr. H. Adam is just wacky. I'm really surprised this got the remaster treatment so soon. But again, I guess they had to do it because with McCartney, you gotta have McCartney too. So underrated.